16 years ago, 2010. And the main thing when I'm thinking right now, I was escaping from my situation. And I think is the environment is the blaming environment. That's why I have these problems. But today, I'm doing career and personal development coaching and helping people to find a purpose and what's the direction in their life. The reason I went through this one because 25 years ago, in the last 25 years, I work in more than 22 different industries, that 15 of them were self-employed or entrepreneurship. But 2 years ago, when I connected with the private coaching and mentoring platform, I found my purpose. And because of at my work, through the journey, I went to from a casual work to the leadership in less than 3 years. I learned how the mental mindset is stopping me or blocking people. Now I start to helping people to get the career, and I noticed that differently is a mindset. So last year I invested lots of time to healing, going through the, learning how to learn people, but I notified I cannot help them to overcome the challenges or trauma if I don't heal myself. So I went through the neurotransformation therapy, journey, and I notified how many traumas inside for any other negative emotion or limiting beliefs. And I will share how it's happened. But my future, looking for the future is I just coming to the Vision Conference in Auckland today. And I said that I want to just, for this year, my workshop in person, 500 attendees, I want to help 30 people and I want to partner with 5 high achievers this year. So it's a vision for me this year.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So when you mentioned the trauma that you see other people's going through, and then also you shared the trauma that you've experienced in your own healing journey, how did you get here? What caused you to say, I need to change? And what is it that you're looking to change? And why?
Yeah. I want to just back you to a few years ago. I think it was maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I was so devastated and I had a plan to suicide. So instead, I jumped in the car and I went to the GP, my doctor. And when you mentally very negative, you're not doing the right thing. So even on that day, I went to they asked me to go and do the blood test, and the lab technician said, "Oh, your car is get fined." And when it was the worst day ever. But however, the doctor gave me the mental care plan, and I went to the psychologist. And he said, because he was experienced in EMDR, and he went through the journey. We had few sessions. I'll calm down on the starting thinking, questioning why you want to this, but I couldn't find the reason why I'm feeling this, why I'm get offended so quickly and sensitive to any comments. Now, after a few sessions, I remember one day, in the psychologist, they have the coach that you lay down. So he said, just lay down. Um, and then he put the tissue box next to me. And I said, no, it's hard. I never cry. And he said, we'll see. And he just try and send me back to when I was 6. And still, I remember it clearly because I related to that event, or we call that event, that happened in our head. Um, But because another thing's coming through, I couldn't finish the healing at that time. So back last year, when in July, I went to the neurotransformation therapy. I remembered that event and I said, I want to, release this one. So what I learned is we, when we born, or when we born, our brain is not developed enough. So that's why when everything's coming to or happen around us in the family, school, or neighborhood, or we saw on the news, or the stories parents and grandparents they tell us, or when we read the history, what's happened to our country, what's happened to our city, what's happened or our family, what depends on the past. It creates a question, and then that it cannot get answered, and because of the brain is not developed enough and is the brain is designed to survive. That's why we take it on board, and then it top up each year. Every time we go through the challenges and everything, it's top up. So we call it timeline. So when we back to that timeline, when we see the anger, the shame, the sadness and hurt is carry on. And then another event happened that is build up and build up. And by the time we got adult and then we go through the real reality in your life, there is no one's, but that programs through the years we had from the childhood is program us. So we reaction to everything. We are offended quickly because of that event long time ago. So in NTT, we call it neurotransformation therapy, NTT. I decided I remembered that one and I want to release. So we went through the timeline therapy for that moment that I remember 6 years ago, I want to release it. And I did it. But how I did it, because it's still I remember. The therapy is about releasing, separating the emotion from that memory. Because when the actual trauma is when somebody says something that is offended to me, is I got the emotional, I got angry or sad. Now the therapy is went to take you somewhere that the emotion not existed and replace it with the positive. Listen, what I learned, what I missed when my brain was 6 years old, not the 40 in 40s. Now I learned how to release and remove it. And every time now I back to that memory is okay. I don't have emotion. I become very calm. And when people it's still long to go, because we have built up lots of things for related to the different event or a story. But with that one, it was critical for me. I know that how emotion hold me back for years. It was shame because it was happened in front of the other kids, and it's shame, anger, fear, and all of them. One even can develop lots of negative emotions that we carry on. And then when you got the backpack of the long, very heavy weights, and then you want to climb, but you cannot because that heavy weights you carry, and then there is not serving you, holding you back, slowing down. You have to use more energy to move. But, releasing it is very vague. You feel okay, and then, oh, I have a purpose. And then with that journey I share, so I get equipped to help more people now these days. At least show them the direction is up to them, so they want to just go ahead and release it. I'm use this method these days to helping people when getting self-confident when they go into the interview or they want a promotion, they want to make a phone calls or so what they want to just achieve in their career. Mm.
You made some really good points. You mentioned shame, you mentioned limiting beliefs. And that takes me back to my own past where I decided, Terrain, you don't want to be this way anymore. I remember these conversations, my friend, with myself. And then what happened is that it was like, for those who believe in God, the universe, whatever, is like wisdom from the heavens came down and blessed me with this knowledge that maybe was always there, but it was hidden away. Maybe because of the shame, I didn't want to explore it because I know if I got better, I would have to leave people behind. And if I left people behind, I would be alone. And if I was alone,
Yeah.
maybe I would think that people didn't like me or I wasn't likable. When you were going through all of those things, what were some of the emotions that you felt as your life started to get better? When you looked at your friends, when you looked at your families, and you realized maybe they won't be around here to support me anymore?
Yep. True.
How did that feel for you when you had to go through that?
Yes, so it's absolutely true because when everything is in our head, and if we know how it's working and how emotions develop, we can take the control of it. But when everything is built up at the passively in the subconscious, and when people's coming, there is no mean in some words. Even when at the moment, if somebody's coming and intentionally wants to offend me, I know that is something inside them, that something happened in the background. They cannot notice it. That's why trying, is it like the brain defense mechanism to serve them, to survive them, because they cannot handle it. That's when it's called trauma, is a untreated wound, but is not physically. So that's why I know they have a wound that is not treated, is not healed. That's why, it's like a symptom when somebody's yell, when somebody's, shy and then, cry. That's a symptom of something that inside. And the healing is not supposed to take all the good emotions, because when we have empathy, when we have something happen, this is fine to cry. If somebody, when you're happy, super happy, the cry is very, very normal. But carry on, and taking out of your life direction and enjoying the life is the problem. When my mom passed away 2018, so I had a chance to be, the last minute. So, but my sister couldn't handle, the last few years, nursing her. And then I see, still she's dealing with the, but by the time passing, the effect is coming down, the visible emotions. But because it's not still, taking the blame or guilt. That's, oh, I didn't serve enough, and then and lack of something missing, and then just carry on, and the life is go to the different direction that is not in our control, because the emotions and the past is in the driver's seat and take in control.
How was your life impacted when your mother passed away?
um it's a good question because it's remind me another journey. uh I born in Iran, and our family wasn't very religious, but my mom was very, follow all the, the religious rules, and always recommended, whatever wherever you go, follow, you go praise and everything. Um, My mom was twin of two different genders. So my uncle and my mom were twin, however, different gender. My uncle, other way, he was atheist, no religious. So it was interesting when they coming, they chatting, and then they always argue, and then my mom was to, guide him, but he was to try to convince that, is not religious, is not serving you anyway. When my mom passed, I was super angry, super, super angry. And everything's happened. I was because my mom was praying all the time. 6 years, dealing with the Parkinson and mobility. It was last years, so two major operations in a hospital. It wasn't easy, it was like painful last few years for her. But my uncle, other side, 1 year later, he just got a stroke, and then in 40 days, and passed away. 1 month before his stroke, he asked his the kids and say, I want to go and then say goodbye to my dad. So they took him to the car and then travel around the country, different cities. They went to the cemetery and then said goodbye, come back. And, he almost enjoyed all the moment of the life, go to the restaurant. He had the Alzheimer's, so he couldn't remember everything, but they tried to, he enjoyed the last minutes. And he said, I will go, I want to go say goodbye. And then it's starting goodbye with everyone. So in that moment, I got angry about, the God, how the fairies, somebody's, don't believe and this happened. And I started questioning, about how about these things. And what I found is amazing, how our beliefs can serve us or limit us. And for the core of the beliefs are the values, what we value most, what we're spending our energy on it. But we need to question, are these beliefs or values are serving us or holding us back? So when I get that meaning, I can explain, all day, and then somebody not makes sense. But when you get it, when you're understanding, from inside, you will see how relaxed you are. Okay, and then yes, 48 years. I'm 48, and then I missed the lots of good years that my young years. But if I want to live in, even say 80, still I have 32 years. Some people, passed in 30s. So I have a full life if I want to design it. So instead of, saying, and if this happened and that happened, moving forward, look at the back mirror in your car is small. Look, make sure it's safe, what the lesson, how the past was, and then, design or look at the big mirror, big windows in front of you. Um, so to just finish off this, my answer to this question, I heard a sentence this weekend at the conference, and he said, when something's happened, do you look at the window or the mirror? When you look at the window, you're looking for the excuses, complaints, and blame and see who was the fault. But if you go to the mirror and look at the mirror and yourself and say, what lesson I learned? What can I change that the person come in the mirror be different next time?
Change
Yeah.
is so hard, isn't it? Sometimes
Yeah.
We want to change and something holds us back. It could be back to our limiting beliefs. It could be this journey, terrain is just too long and too difficult, and it's tough. And you mentioned some strong emotions that you're angry when your mother passed away. And then you had another family member that passed away. And it just seems like life was just giving you one trauma after another, just piling it on. And when you look back, what were some of the steps that you took to overcome it and become the man that's in front of all of us today?
So to make it easy to understanding for everyone, what I learned is a start with the questioning the beliefs. When I had the beliefs, or no, this is the right way, but people when very strict about their beliefs, they will not change. Nobody can change them. But as you mentioned, it's hard because the what is making it hard is the other opponent person is you. Because easy to blame and easy, excuse and complain. But when yourself is coming as a, who's responsible for this mess or this feel or everything, is hard because nobody wants to fight with himself or herself. But when I start, the starting point is the questioning the beliefs. So depends on how aware or knowledge what how is the or the pain, the severity of the pain, how is big. So the question can through the fear zone. So when I question the beliefs, I went to the fear zone. If not happen, if I was wrong, what is happened? And I start in questioning. Depends on how long you stay in the fear, or the fear is bigger than that I can handle it. I will back to my comfort zone. That's the old beliefs and mindset. But if I can handle the fear, I will go step up, and then more lights coming, more fogs go away, and I feel more reality what I want. And then starting slowly learning. And in that moment, the coaching and someone that believe in you, trusting in you, and can support is critical. When people go to the fear zone alone, they will it maybe get another a wound, or very big damage that maybe they cannot handle it easily. So if the one when the question part, when you want to go to the fear is recommended, find the right person to be in journey with you. At least you can go and then talk to someone. Like what you've done on your channel is incredible. So people can go and listen to this one, at least get them, okay, I'm not alone. Lots of people go through that one. And when the fear is going away, and then we keep going, and then we get the new values, we're starting to create the new beliefs, and how light and calm we become. So it doesn't need to go far away. You can just remember the last time you want to drive for the first time. The fear come true. But getting that driver license, it was more powerful than your fear. So you had to go through all the fears that if something happened, if the cars go to and then hit someone, and then go to the financial. But you passed through that one, and you got successfully. Now these days, if you're driving, of course, are you scared or fear? You don't even think how to handling the lots of manual tasking, because it's subconscious to take control of it. Cycle, if you want to ride a bicycle, it was the same as first day. We all pass it. I came to Australia, so getting the visa and then immigration process was easy. No, but when I came here, it is success. but it's another fear, how I settle, how I get the job. And is a journey. That's why I found the self-developed life. So we need to self-develop ourselves, and is unfortunately lifetime journey. It's not ending and I say I'll go to the school and get a degree and it is ended. No, the self-develop, when you unlock another level come, and it shouldn't be easy. It must be harder. If you play, the Candy Crush, you will know what I mean.
You gave the example about driving your car for the first time or riding a bike, and that brought me back to when I first learned how to drive a car. I had a very experienced driver in the passenger seat. We're in the parking lot, and I'm doing okay. Make my left turns, my right turns, you're going in circles, but it's an empty parking lot and you're perfectly fine. As soon as the person said, okay, let's go to the road, I went to the road. All I did was I drove from the parking lot back to my house. And let me tell you, my friend, my legs were like spaghetti. I was shaking. I didn't know how I was going to make it out of the car into the house and up to my room. I probably had to crawl up the stairs like I was a drunken mess. But I wasn't drunk. It was just the fear, the anxiety got to me. I remember that time all those years ago as I aged myself. And I remember today. Now it's like second nature. You jump in a car, you put it into gear, and off you go. Smooth sailings. But who would have thought that the person today, the driver today, went through that all those years ago? Just like you said, who would have thought the man today, healthy, helping others, smiling, content, filled with self worth, was that same person that maybe was bullied, that maybe was people pleasing, that maybe didn't think that they were worthy of a better life, who was afraid of making the changes because if I make the change and fail, does that mean I'm not worthy of a better life? What do you think are some of the things that we say to ourselves to discourage us from making progress?
So I had a workshop last week about the subconscious reset. So if I give you an example, it's make it a little bit more make sense for our listeners, viewers. So the main thing is, if you imagine a ship and your conscious mind is your captain. So where the captain located? On the room on the top, the highest floor with all glass and can see everything. And subconscious is the one is an engine room and control and direction of the ship. Now, when the captain say 10 degrees to the left, are the crew questioning why? Why to the left? Why 10 degrees? What they do, they implement it 10 degrees, even into to the rock. But what the captain is seeing and overseeing and everything, so he's conscious. Why, when the conscious is self-talk, it's wrong? Because when so the captain is using the manual of the ship. So if the manual says, to go straight, you need to go, 10 degrees, that means this one. So it's all the programs. But, the captain only use that manual. And if you want to change a better direction, you need to change the manual, to upgrade the manual. So that's why when we talk negatively to ourselves, it's because that manual or program. But subconscious, when the 10 degrees for the crew in the engine room is, they know what to do, is a code. So when we're starting to self-talk to ourselves, is because of that programs. And subconscious is programmed and they implement it. That's why when we when we are negative, we get more negativity, we get more things coming to us, and everything's good happen, we translate it in the negative because it's programmed. So for the subconscious, you need to go and then reset your subconscious. how it's happened based off the neuroscience. So when we are kids, so the neurons like this, so the neurons, they have a different arms. When an event happen that is very magnificent to our mind, a connection between two neurons happen. When is happen again, and then another connection, and then this connection is maybe not touched, but they get stronger and cemented together, solid. And that is how the brain is programmed. Well, when you want to release the emotion and replace it with the positive, the connection get loose and loose and loose. That's why with 1 or 2 days, positive affirmation, it's not working. You need to go and then do lots of work, not only affirmation, like a physical activities, reading, associate with the good, positive mindset people. The environment must be changed to this connection get loose and loose, and release this neuron and then connect it to another one. So the different connection. And now when the conscious is starting to different meaning. So 10 degrees is still 10 degrees, but the meaning is changed. And when the subconscious hear it, you'll implement it. So we're starting to see the positive in everything, not only negative.
I love that point. It's one thing to say it, and then it's another thing to do it, but you need both. Say
Yes.
it, do it, and then continue forward. Let me ask you one final question, Maddie, before I let you go. When it comes to that, I'm going to give you three wishes. What are three things you wish people knew about the benefits of positive affirmations and following up with positive behaviors?
It's a good question. So the first thing is about the positive. Depends on the person. You need to hear it a lot. So when we say it, we need to intentionally act on it. And if we don't act it, we violate our values. We say something, but we don't believe it. And that's your conscious or mind said, see, you don't believe it, you don't action it. And then we start to, another issue, another problem will come up because, we have a proof that our values is not worthy. So the first thing is, if you want to say affirmation, I'm good enough, don't go so too far. Don't see it in other person. Go back to, and just thinking about what I achieved in life, how I achieve it. Definitely you will find a dozen. You don't need to go too far. And also the happiness is a choice, because when we have, every time something happen, we can go to the negative, we can go to the positive, but the happiness is about the progress, it's not about the result. As the Tony Robbins says, when you achieve something, if you say what makes you happy, and people say, if I have the mansion, and I said, okay, this is a mansion. And your happiness will be stay for few days or few months. After that, your brain, it cannot stay. It needs more. So instead of define the happiness on, if I achieve, this car or this house or this sort of the money, I will be happy. And say, I will be happy as long as I'm progress to achieve that one. So enjoy the progress. Every time you set a goal for today, I want to go and then talk to 5 people. And then when you say that is when you're taking the small wins, that's the happiness. Because I'm